5 is underway. Our goal today is to get to Kanektok, and that's going to mark the halfway point of our trip. So we're going to spend a little time there and try to enjoy the river and maybe set up camp for a night or two. So Dan, you tied all these flies months prior to this trip. How does it, the expectations fit with the reality of being here today?
All I needed were beads. At least for the trout and stuff. The salmon, you know, we haven't found the silvers yet. I did tie a fly that I caught 2 kings on. You know, I didn't know what fly the kings would want, so you had to tie a lot. But yeah, I caught 2 kings and landed them on a fly, and that's pretty cool.
So we could have gone to Michael's Arts and Crafts and geared up with beads, or Dan's fly shop in his basement, which is pretty incredible. I don't have any film of that. Maybe we'll add some personal pictures that Dan had when he was prepping here, but hours and hours of fly tying to prepare for this trip. I'm not showing even a fraction of what Dan has for gear. All right, when we booked this trip, we originally booked a 10-day float, same distance, and we added a day because we said it's so far to go. Let's just spend an extra. We'd much rather have 1 extra day on the river than 1 extra day sitting in Bethel or Anchorage. And I'm really thankful for that now, specifically because we still have incredible weather. All right, we're just sitting around talking about the day, and Brian made a goal.
I am not falling in that river again. No way.
How many times do we got?
Two. So
up,
little
up
advice. Yeah. You get a bath. So here's the challenge. There are some spots of the river where it's really, really, really slippery. I mean, it's hard to walk on. So
Dan floats rivers for a living, and he said this is the slipperiest rocks he's ever seen.
Yeah. So it means something.
Yeah, that means something.
Just be prepared for that.
You've gone in twice. I've gone in twice. Mike's gone in 3 times.
And Dan
0.
Oh.
So we're keeping track of that one. That's a good score to keep track of.
So what's the moral of this story, folks? Dan's got river legs.
River dance.
If you need to go fishing with somebody.
I'm definitely using that.
Come on, Dave, flap your arms. Get a little lift, Whoa.
We're shooting a movie.
We were shooting a movie.
Cut. Well, there should be fish right in here, don't you think? All right, so tip at the indicator. Drag free drift.
You don't need to feed in the line. There you go.
Little mend.
Remember your sets low and across to your left.
Okay.
And all I do here is just strip in just a little, just to get your line a little, that big one there out.
Just to get a little closer.
That gives your line a little bit more for when you set, you don't have that drag. Now you're good there. Just mend that little bit up. There you go. There it is.
So we broke camp maybe an hour ago, and I think this is number 10. I haven't been filming them because it's kind of the same thing over and over, which is fun to do, but it doesn't make a great film. I got Mike rowing like crazy. Is this a grayling?
Yeah.
Big grayling. Been catching, I think I've got...
That's 10 fish.
10 fish. I got 7 dollies, 2 grayling, and a little tiny male king salmon. But that's pretty good for an hour. That is pretty good. Thanks, Mike.
There we go. See him out there?
Yeah.
Blue.
Boy, he does look blue. Yeah, that's what we're looking
for. Spots. All I was doing was just catching dollies.
Have you caught a dolly in a while?
Yeah, a couple of them. Get out.
All right, we thought we'd see some silvers today.
We got one.
Good job, Brian. Way to put him on that fish.
You rode me right into it.
You're doing great back there, buddy.
Wow. You got the boat okay now, bro?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, good.
It didn't look good. You better not have that on.
I do have it on film, actually.
No. That gets cut.
I'll decide what gets cut.
Oh, come on now. I'm going to protest.
Right.
I've been fighting this fish for a while. Screaming hot run. Let's see if I can kind of beach him. Stay right there.
This is where the rodeo starts.
Is it a silver? That's a sockeye. Damn. I mean, that was a lot of fun. He ate it.
So after 5 days, I think everybody's got their routine down for setting up camp. Everybody's kind of got their roles together. But the cadence seems to go, get the water set up, get the water filtering, get the cook tent, the bug tent up and running, get everything ready so we can eat if we need to, and then start popping the tents up.
And you got to come up with a backup. Because if the main guy happens to hurt his back, then there's got to be a backup.
Yeah. No more hauling coolers out of the boat for me for a little while. We'll see how the Tylenol goes. That's a good point. We got camp set up. Dan's going to the grocery store.
Only food if he doesn't catch any fish. We're eating Snicker bars.
Yeah, we got candy bars, a bunch of lettuce, tortillas. So Dan, we're counting on you.
All right.
You're in Alaska.
Pressure. No pressure, Dan. Back from the grocery store. Tacos tonight.
Nice, dollies.
Dollies.
All right, we sent Dan to the grocery store. He came back in a couple minutes with 2 Dolly Vardens, so I think we're sitting in a pretty good spot here.
Well, we have a little Alaskan whiskey here. You know, we're on the, the lamb.
It's a little rugged.
It's a little rugged, so we got a little bourbon. Smoother than Jack Daniels.
Well, that's not saying much.
No, but not as good as Gentleman Jack.
So when you asked Brian to do a whiskey review, everything is based off of Jack Daniels.
Well, because it's bourbon.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Skull.
Skull.
This is going to be some fresh fish tacos. First time filleting a Dolly Varden.
Yep.
Before you make comments in this video, notice he's got a glove on. We are in the middle of nowhere, southeast Alaska. Precautions are being made.
Should make some fish soup.
Nice.
This is the side that's easy to screw up on because the head holds it up.
Yeah.
So if you kind of come in like that.
With a sharp knife, you can go right through the spine there. What'd you catch these on, Dan?
Bead.
The old
Need a plastic
8mm bead.
8mm
Bubble.
bubblegum bead.
We didn't get real technical today, but we caught a lot of fish. All right, we're making Dolly Varden tacos for the boys today. So Dan caught this off the camp. Little Mexican rice to go with it. All right, what do you think, Mike?
Unbelievable.
Dolly Varden tacos.
There are fairly few people in this world that Dolly Varden tacos.
Check that off the list. Dolly Varden tacos. Now we're really enjoying this tent. We rented this tent out from Papa Bear Adventures. And the first day we put it up, it was like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I mean, it's still light out here in Alaska. But it took us, Brian, how long do you think the first time?
40 minutes?
We're putting this tent up. It's actually kind of fun now because we've learned so many little tricks. This is the 5th or 6th time we've done it. Brian's pounding his steak into just absolute stones, but he's making it work. What do you think, Dan?
Well, I just wondered why he doesn't have my tent up yet. Oh,
He
he rode the boat for me all day.
rode the boat and did the dishes.
What else?
But
I love
pretty cool. We're pretty happy with this tent. It's a 6-man tent. Well, obviously we've only got 2 guys in it, which is awesome. If we had bad weather, we could get all our gear in there. We could change our clothes in there. We could do everything, keep dry. But check out this this gazelle tent right here. This is a bug tent. The first day we put this up, it took 2 of us about 45 minutes to do it. We couldn't find instructions. It didn't make sense. They said it should go up in a minute. And now Mike puts this thing up all by himself in less than 5 minutes. Pretty amazing. You just do things a few times, you learn how to do it. But we're sitting on a little cool island here. We're gonna spend the day here tomorrow. Mike's fishing over there. They've been catching dolly varden, some rainbows. A chum salmon got caught. The dollies that Dan caught for dinner, he caught right there. So we're gonna fish that riffle a little bit more.
This is what I'm going to use if the bear comes.
Holy moly, we haven't seen a soul today. Just southeast of Alaska, having a trip of a lifetime out here. We caught tons and tons of fish today. You know, just a question, Brendan. Why does everybody say be careful right after you almost have an incident? Be careful. Okay. Yeah, now that I almost had an incident, thank you. So of all the gear we rented out, these cots are my least favorite. I'm not saying I'm not sleeping well on them, but I hate setting them up, and somehow I got to be the cot guy. I'll do a time lapse of this cot setup, and I don't like this cot. Just want to be crystal freaking clear. Check out that handiwork. Obviously pretty happy with myself there. I would have set an all-time record, only I had it upside down. If this was Camp Olympics, that could have placed. I think I would have been proud of that effort. Oh, you know, and if you're like, hey, those cots look really good, that's not a big issue, you shouldn't be concerned about those. Keep in mind, this is the instructions. Try reading those with a bunch of bugs on you. 11 p.m. the first day in Alaska. You got positive ID?
No, not positive. But no, I was literally just trying to play with the sockeyes like I have been, and he just came out of nowhere. He chomped it hard. So,
All right,
let's find out.
let's play them out.
Yeah, I mean, he just looks different, right?
He's going, hey, wait a minute.
Woo. Worked in.
He's going to go hide for a little.
All right, so wrap up on day 5. We're at the halfway point. We're at Camp Nuckluck here is what we're calling it, but we're actually about 100 or 200 yards downriver from Nuckluck Creek, and on this cool little island that we found. So what was the best part of the day, Brian?
I learned how to roll, at least kind of. I only crashed just once. So I'm pretty happy with that.
How many times did you crash just prior to that?
About 15. So,
All right, so
my percent defect level going down.
going down. Dan, what do you think? What was the best part of the day?
Oh, I caught a lot of fish today.
You said that yesterday.
I know, but I caught a lot of fish today. And honestly, it was really cool because Brian rode more or less the whole day for me, it was just so kind of him, and he let me coach him along, and that was cool. And so we came around this one bend, and it was clearly like gonna go bad, and we pretty smoothly bailed out of that one. Yeah, that was.
Was that your almost crash, or was that?
No, we had an almost crash where it just was an oops. Yeah,
Okay.
but, yeah.
Well, we won't focus on those.
Yeah, but no, yeah, things actually, yeah.
Yeah, we had a good day.
It was a fun day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Caught
Mike?
some good stuff today.
Mike, what are your thoughts on the best part of the day?
I rode all day long, and I felt very, very confident in the rowing. A little upset that Dan didn't mention that I rode him half the day yesterday. Then he made me switch boats and row, so not thanking me for rowing him all day
You're
long.
right. Thank you,
Is-
Mike, for
As
rowing.
he
Guys,
was catching fish.
We're at the halfway point. Is the crew falling apart?
Oh,
Are we at odds?
I hope not.
Okay.
I think it's going to
Okay.
turn. It's going to turn.
Just an observation, right, Mike?
I think we hooked up in an hour. We had 10 or 11 fish you had.
That was a great start to the day.
Just boom, 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 boom,
Yep.
boom. And it was rowing was just beautiful. I mean,
Nice river to row.
you're just looking at everything else around there instead of concentrating on.
Yeah,
some
maybe a
indicator.
unique part of the trip I certainly didn't think about. It's fun looking at the river and thinking about the current and thinking about where you're going to put your fishermen and that sort of thing. I know, Dan, you do that all the time, but it's something I think the three of us have come to appreciate. All right, well, that's a wrap on day 5. Day 6, we're going to spend our entire time here, and we'll see what we catch. And we're just going to kind of relax, enjoy the company. We're going to make some pancakes in the morning.